Right, I want lamai. So last week we discussed our first grade 7 first term test paper, and today for further support we will discuss another paper from your grade 7 first term syllabus. Right, now since I have shared this paper with you already, right, hope you guys completed all these questions. So as a support, then I can discuss this questions one by one, and we can allocate the relevant marks. So at the end of this paper discussion, you can get proper idea about your basic knowledge about these few lessons. Okay, right, let's start then. So normally grade 7 part 1 paper consists of 20 MCQ questions. Part 1 paper nearly consists of 20 MCQ questions. Okay, 20 MCQ questions. So we'll see how you can score with these 20 MCQ questions, right? අපි ඉස්සලම් බලමු කොහොමද MCQ 20 ඔයාලා හරියට කරන්න කියලා. Okay, let's see. Right, now look at the first question, Pati. Now first question is about water. This is about water, right? So the salt mostly dissolved in seawater. The salt mostly dissolved in seawater. So mostly dissolved means we have several salts which dissolves in seawater. So seawater is a kind of a mixture, right? Not like fresh water, right? In fresh water also we have some sort of minerals, some sort of ions dissolved in there. But when compared with the seawater, we can observe very limited amount of salts in fresh water, right? So magnesium chloride, so calcium chloride, potassium chloride, and sodium chloride. So you know all these kind of chlorides we can observe in seawater in different proportions. But one salt, the sodium chloride salt, basically we called common salt. ඔයා ගෙදර කැමට ගන්නේ pure sodium chloride. So we can evaporate water and we can remove all these other chlorides and other type of components, and we can isolate the sodium chloride. So that's what we are using when cooking and many other purposes, right? The answer, sodium chloride, number 4. Second question, standard symbol to denote a cell. Cell එකක් පෙන්වන්න අපි පාවිච්චි කරන standard symbol එක. Standard symbol to denote a cell. Yes. Now, when indicating a cell, you should indicate both the terminals. Both the terminals mean the positive terminal and the negative terminal. In each and every case, you can observe, no, මේක බලන්න පුළුවන් only positive terminals. Here the negative terminals, that's wrong. So here you can observe positive and negative terminals respectively. Right. Anyhow, the long terminal, මේ වගේ long terminal එකක් ඉන්න ඕනේ positive terminal එකට. So therefore, the answer, third answer. Okay. Right. Okay. Next question from plants. Which is not a special characteristic of dicot plants? Right. In order to answer this question, need to have a proper idea about the dicot plants. Dicot. Two cotyledons. Dicot means two cotyledons. Cotyledons දෙකක් තියෙන. Right? Two cotyledons. Two. Right. Taproot system. Not especially not කියලා නෙහන්නේ. Taproot system. Taproot system. In dicot plants, you can observe taproot system. Yes, that's true. Two seed lobes. Definitely you can observe two seed lobes. Right? And then 5 petals and parallel venation. So, in dicot plant, you can observe this sort of venation, right? මෙන්න මේ වගේ venation එකක් නේ ඔයාලට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? This is not parallel, this is what I call reticulate venation. So parallel venation means, just consider like a grass. It veins like this. This is what we call parallel venation. So therefore, the answer should be parallel venation. Make a parallel venation mean parallel venation. So this is not a special characteristic of dichotomous plants. Fourth answer. Right. Next one. Which of the following stem is not a underground stem? Asking about the underground stems. Puthe question එකේ අහන්නේ about the underground stems. So what would be the answer here? Right? Underground stems. Now look at the manioc. 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 Manioc means a kind of underground stem. Is that an underground stem or it's a kind of a root? Yes. Manioc means underground root. It's a kind of, it's a root. Right? It's a root, so it can store some sort of food. So this is what we call underground root. Underground root. Okay. So then you have another one here. Now this should be the answer. අපි බලමු ඒක the answer එක කියන එක අපි බලමු. Right? So then the next one. Look at the next one. Ginger. So ginger belongs to a underground stem. Right? Leeks belongs to underground stem. Underground stem. Potato also kind of underground stem. So therefore, the answer, manioc, it's a kind of underground. This is a root, not a stem. Answer number 4. Fifth one. The person who first observed about static electricity. Static electricity is salam observe karapu kena. Right? So look at the given answers. Newton. Is that the Newton relevant with this static electricity? What do you think? Newton may static electricity එක්ක මොකද සම්බන්ධයක් තිබුණාද? No. Right? No such relationship in between Newton and the static electricity. Why? The Newton explains about the Newton's laws. Right? Okay. So, Hooke, no, not relevant. William Gilbert, right? William Gilbert, yes, he is the person who tries to generate some electric charges by rubbing solid amber with a silk cloth. Solid amber with the silk cloth. So the William Gilbert is the person who just explains about who identified these static electric charges first, right? So Benjamin Franklin also, we discuss about the Benjamin Franklin also. But he is the person first to carry out experiments on lightning. Now, lightning also related with this static electricity, but directly not about the static electricity. No. එයා කෙලින්ම නෙමෙයි. එයා කරේ මොකද්ද? එයා කරේ දරුවෝ lightning වෙනකොට static electricity generate වෙනවද කියලා බලන්න. Okay, so confuse කරගන්න එපා. Okay, sixth one. The factor essential for the dispersal of the following seed. මෙන්න seed එක. All right. So you can observe this seed. මේ seed එක බැලුවට පස්සේ you can clearly identify some sort of structures, what you call like feathers. Feathers වගේ structure එකක් තියෙනවා නේද? මොකද්ද මේ structure එක? Horror seed එක. Horror, right? Okay, so why this feather-like structure? Normally feathers in order to travels through the wind, right? So therefore, this feather-like structure supports in order to disperse the seed with the support of wind. With the support of wind. Wind can disperse in the tamai meya support karan. Okay? Next one. The animal that haven't a backbone. You know, we discuss about two different types of animals, two different types of organisms. I mean, basically animals, right? So, vertebrates and invertebrates. Vertebrates are the organisms with a kind of a backbone, supportive structure, right? Can stay straight. And also these invertebrates are the organisms without a backbone. So, no backbone, right? Basically, no backbone, right? So, animals that have a backbone is the fish having a backbone, right? So, this organism, tortoise having a backbone, being a reptile. So, always having a backbone for a bird. Then finally, starfish without a backbone. So, no backbone you can observe here. No backbone, right? No backbone here. Right, next one. Capacitor is, right, there is given structures, some structures, but these are real structures, real diagrams, not the symbols. These are real diagrams. So the capacitor, what is the function of a capacitor? So capacitors were used in order to store some electric charges. So that means we can connect these capacitors into current electric sources or electricity, and then you can supply current electricity. So this process we call charging. Make it charging කියලා. Charge වෙනවා කියලා කියනවා. So while charging can store some static electric charges. And also if you connect back a kind of a LED bulb or some this sort of instrument, then this will start to discharge. Charge discharge like a dry cell. But the capacity of this sort of thing is very, very, very limited, right? The correct diagram is number 1. Number 9, pH value of water is, pure water is, within normally the pH value of pure water is neutral, right? Neutral means 7, but due to, now you know this is about the pure water, no? But if some salts were dissolved, and you know about the drinking water, most probably the drinking water is kind of a basic, acidic one. So acidic that's due to the dissolved solids, dissolved particles. Got it? Right. 10th question. Jaggerian trickle. Jaggerian trickle can be produced from Kithul trees. Jaggerian trickle can be produced from Kithul trees. The instant of, right? Jaggerian Kithul. Apita hakuru. Jaggeri kiyanne hakuru ne puthe. Trickle kiyanne pani neda. Yes. We can make this from Kithul trees. How? First of all, you need to get that solution. Which secretes from the phloem. We call it as sucrose. We can collect this sucrose solution by cutting the flower, and you can place a pot there. So in our atmosphere we have some microbes called yeast. So once yeast reach this sucrose, they'll convert this into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. Okay, ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. Okay. ඕකට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ රා කියලා. හරි? Local rack. So, if you try to remove more and more water, if you try to remove more and more water without allowing this fermentation process, then we can observe the trickle. වතුර ටිකක් අඩුවෙන්න එයාගේ තියෙන සීනි ගතිය වැඩි වෙලා, sugar ගතිය වැඩි වෙලා අපිට හම්බ වෙනවා penny, right? And then after that we can remove more and more water, then we can observe jaggery. So this is the procedure where we can make jaggery and trickle. So use of coolant property of water, no, this is not relevant with the coolant property. Use of floating property of water, no, floating property එකක් අදාළ වුණේ නැහැ. Use of solvent property of water, use of solvent property, okay, solvent property එක අපි පැත්තකින් චුට්ටක් තියමු. Use of separating materials dissolved in water. Right. Then ඕකට can be produced from kettle trees in instant of use of separating materials from materials dissolved in water. That means we can remove water first. Neither. We can remove water and we can isolate what? We can isolate sugar, right? Okay. Right. We have next set of questions. Now, these questions also belongs to the part 1, right? Why all these are short questions like MCQ questions. So here also you need to select the correct answer and fill in the blanks. Okay. So is used to identify the direction of electric current flow. මොකද්ද use කරන්නේ flow එක identify කරගන්න? Center zero galvanometer. Center zero galvanometer is the instrument which used in order to identify the direction of the electric current, right? Center 01 specially indicates the direction. Generation of electricity in a conductor when magnetic field is cutting with the conductor, right? What we can observe, generation of electricity in a conductor when magnetic field is cutting with the conductor is electromagnetic induction. We learned about electromagnetic induction too. The ability of organisms to adapt their environment is. Ability of organisms to adapt their environment is. Environment එකට adapt වෙන්න තියෙන හැකියාව, ability එක. We call it as adaptation. We call it as adaptation. We call this as adaptation. Right? We call this as adaptation. We call this as adaptation, right? Okay, next one, fourth one. Are the solutions that give different colors with acids and bases? With acids and bases. මොනවාද? In order to identify the acids and bases, we can use a special type of things. We call them as indicators. Acid-base indicators. We call them as acid-base indicators. Right. Last one. The current that changes the direction with the time. The current that changes the direction with the time. Time එකත් එක්ක වෙනස් වෙන current එක තමයි. Which one? Alternating current. So direct current, no change of direction with the time. Right, okay. Right, last set of questions. Mark the following statements true or false. හරිද වැරදිද කියලා කියන්නයි තියෙන්නේ. Right? Okay, the amount of electricity generated increases the rotating speed of the dynamo. Is that true? The amount of electricity generated increases with the rotating speed of the dynamo. Yes, yes, yes. In order to increase the amount of electric current which generates the dynamo, number one, you can increase the speed, right? Or else you can increase the power of that magnet inside, or you can increase the amount of number of coils. So amount of electricity generated increase with the rotating speed of the dynamo is true. Phenolphthalein is a kind of white powder. So we did about this, pH. So pH readings. Now, the phenolphthalein is a very good kind of acid-base indicator or pH indicator, and we can have it in as a form of a white-colored powder. So once this white-colored powder dissolved in surgical spirit or ethanol, right? Then we can observe a colorless solution. So this is true. If the pH value is 3, that should be basic substance. Look at this. So we can have pH values, pH 0, pH 14, and here the pH 7. So 0 to 7 means this is acidic. Methane highly acidic, right? Decreasing acidic nature. Then 3 කියන්නේ මෙතනනේ. නම් 3 කියන්නේ should be acidic. 7 means neutral, 14 means base, right? pH value is 3, that should be basic substance. No, should be acidic substance. Repulsion and attraction. Repulsion and attraction may occur between charge rods. Yes, if the rods contain same type of charges. එකම වගේ charges නම් තියෙන්නේ. Positive or even negative charges. This will start to repel. Preparing black color solution when adding condensed water. Preparing black color solution when adding condensed water. So you know about the Condensed crystals. මොනවද පුතේ condensed crystals කියන්නේ? Yes. Yes, any idea? What are condensed crystals? මොනවද condensed crystals කියන්නේ? Right? Condensed crystals mean පුතේ copper sulfate crystals. But once you dissolve this in water, this will result normally it's not a black colored solution. This will result not black but blue colored solution. Black නෙමෙයි. This will result blue color solution. So therefore this is also wrong. Right. Now you can have the total amount of your marks. ලකුණු ගන්න දැන් පොඩ්ඩක් calculate කරගන්න ඕනේ. Right. So you guys can count the correct marks. මේකේ හරි උත්තර ගාන ගැන ගන්න. Right? හරි ගාන ගැන ගන්න. හරි ටික count කරන්න. And then you can multiply this by 2. Now just imagine here you will have 20 questions. No, 20 hari na 20 into 2. That means 40. Okay. Hurry up and count your marks. Right. So hope you guys have 20 out of 20 marks, right? Saying suck at the sorry, 40 out of 40 marks at the that means all correct. So these questions are basically very easy, right? So very small, we have very small tags here, but very simple questions. Harima lazy, pahasu question set. Right? Padang karana meva mar lazy. Okay, right. So back to the part 2. And අපි part 2 එක discuss කරන්න යමු. Right. Okay, here the part 2 questions. Part 2 first question. Part 2 first question. Right, you have a diagram here. Diagram එකක් තියෙනවා නේද? Right. So you guys need to name A, B, C, and D. You need to name A, B, C, and D. Right. How to name these structures? අපි බලමු කොහොමද මේවා name කරන්න කියලා. Right, ළමයි. Now these are the reproductive structures of a flower, right? These are the reproductive structures. So it's a half a flower, right? So reproductive structures basically produce new plants. අලුතෙන් දේවල් හදන්නේ මෙන්න මේ reproductive structures. Okay, we'll try to name this. A means, here the A means ovules. Ovules. B means petal. C means stamen, right? Not stamen, it's style. That is style again, it's style. Then we have D, structure D, stigma. Stigma. Then we have the stigma. Right, then name the main parts of androsium. So what is the androsium, Puti? Androsium. Androsium is the male part of a flower. So male reproductive structures of a flower we call as androsium, male. So here the female reproductive structures. Male reproductive structures and the female reproductive structures. Okay, right. So the male reproductive structures composed of anther and filament. Male reproductive structures composed of anther and filament. Anther and filament. Right? What is the function of gynosium? Gynosium එකේ functions මොනවාද? Producing seeds නේද? Gynosium එකේ තියෙන main function එක, right? Reproduction or production of seeds. Last one, state a special character that part B contains for process of pollination. මොකක්ද බලමු part B කියන්නේ? Flowers. Flower එකේ petals. Petals of a flower. How these petals of a flower very important for the reproduction? Right? How? So, in order to pollinate, right, should gain some pollens from other plants. So, should deposit pollens on this. Pollens on this female structure or the gynosium. In order to do so, should attract some insects, right? This method is to attract some insects over it. ඉතින් insects ලා නිකන් ඉන්නේ නෑනේ. So insects ලා එන්නේ if it is colorful, need to highlight. So with different colors, this will attract the attracts the insects or pollinators. Insects or pollinators. Okay, guys, right. So the next figure, look at the next one. So next figure shows a very special process. We call this as germination. Germination of seeds. Right? Germination of seeds. The process of germination. Right. So which type of plant shows the above germination method? The මේ method එක පෙන්නන්නේ මොනකොටද ඩයිකොට්ද කියලා අහන්නේ. This you can observe clearly cotyledons. You can observe two cotyledons here. Two cotyledons. That means dicot plants. Next one. Give two examples for above question type plants. මේකේ අදාළ plants මොනවාද? Mango, guava, these sort of examples. Say two differences between monocot and dicot plants. Two differences අයියෝ කියන්න පුළුවන් මොනවාද? Root system. එකක් තමයි root system. මොනොකොට් එකේ තියෙනවා ඒ වගේම ඩයිකොට් එකේ තියෙනවා මොනවද root system ගත්තොත් in monocot fibrous root system. You can observe a fibrous root system in monocot plants and in dicot tap root system. Next one. State two differences between monocot and dicot. එක හරි අපි කතා කරා. State the special type of root present in the following plants for doing special functions. Right? Doing special functions. Okay, doing special functions. Now, some plants are there. We can observe, right? We can observe special type of roots in this sort of plants. මේ වගේ සමහර plants වල පුතේ අපිට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් special type of roots in some plants. So කින්නය මේ කින්නයි කියන්නේ කිරල, right? කිරල. හරි? In like you know mangroves environments. Kirala. Okay. Right. So in Kerala, we can observe respiratory roots. We can observe respiratory roots in Kerala plants. Respiratory roots are the roots which involves in gaseous exchange with the environment. Environment එකත් එක්ක gas exchange කරන roots තමයි මෙන්න මේ Kerala roots. එහෙම නැත්නම් respiratory roots කියලා කියන්නේ. Okay? So what about the pandanus? මොනවද පුතේ pandanus කියලා කියන්නේ? Pandanus we can වැටකයා කියන්නේ we can observe stilt roots. Stilt roots. Normally these stilt roots supports the stem. Supports the stem. Then we have the pepper climbing roots. Climbing roots supports in order to absorb more and more sunlight by being fixed to a surface. right? උඩින් උඩටම යනවා surface එකට fix වෙලා. Orchid aerial roots. Orchids aerial roots, these aerial roots are capable of absorbing moisture from the atmosphere. Aerial roots. Part C. What is the main function of a plant leaf? ඕකට වෙන ඒවා නම් ලියන්න එපා පුතේ. Main function එක මොකක්ද? Photosynthesis. Name a plant that produce new plants through its leaves. Leaves වලින් අලුත් plants හදන plant එකක්. අනේ තියෙනවා මොනවාද? අක්කපාන, begonia. These are very good examples for vegetative propagation, right? State the factors that helps to disperse fruits or seeds. Cotton වල කොහොමද? wind එකෙන්. කොට්ටම්බ water වලින්. Castor by animals. Right? So simple. Lazy. හොඳටම lazy. Right, okay. So I think you can have the marks here. කොහොමද මේකට marks තියෙන්නේ? Right, බලන්න. Okay. So here we have we'll see කොහොමද marks කියලා බලමු. Right, so you can have 2 marks here, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 marks. 11. Yes, 11 marks. මේකට දාමු තුතේ marks මේකට දාමු. 11. මෙයාට 1 දාගන්න. 1 mark. 1 mark. Three marks. එතකොට 11, 13, 14. මේකට 3 දාගන්නකො. හරි. Okay. Now you can count your marks, huh? Marks එක count කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Right. Right. Read this question first. Tagal read කරගන්න. Go through කරන්න question එක. Okay. Right, හරි නේද? Okay, we'll discuss. But now this question from the static electricity part. මේකත් static electricity part එකේ මාපු question එකක්. So right. You have ebonite rod here and a glass rod here. right? So when some objects are rubbed, electric charges are generated on them. Hang on glass rod rubbed with silk cloth. Right? මෙයා එහෙමනම් silk එක තමයි කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Silk. Rubbed with a silk cloth. Right? So the ebonite rod එක ගැන මොකද කියන්නේ? Hang on ebonite rod rubbed with the woolen cloth. Ebonite rod rubbed with the woolen cloth. Right. Okay. So now we'll answer for these, provide the answers for the questions. Name the type of static electric charges that obtain glass rod rubbed with the woolen cloth. පුතේ glass rod එකක් woolen cloth එකක් එක්ක rub කරාම glass rod gain positive charges. Right? Glass rod gain positive charges. Right? Glass rod එක positively charge වෙනවා. මේක glass නෙමෙයි glass. Glass rod එක woolen cloth එකක් එක්ක නම් positive charge. Right? So then next one. ඊළඟ එකකින් අහනවා. Look at the second question. State the type of static electric charge that results or that obtained when ebonite rod. Now the ebonite rod rubbed with the woolen cloth. The same cloth, the woolen cloth. ඉස්සලා වගේමයි woolen cloth එකක් එක්ක rub කරාට පස්සේ ebonite rod will gain negative charge. Ebonite rod එක negatively charge වෙනවා. Okay. Right? Ebonite rod will gain negative charge. So now in this question, the third question, it asks about what is your observation in step 1? Step 1 එකේ අපේ observation එක මොකක්ද? දැන් glass rod එක silk cloth එකක rub කරත් පුතේ glass rod එකට හම්බෙන්නේ positive charges ම තමයි. Right? දැන් මෙයා positive නේ. Glass rod එක silk cloth එක්ක rub කරත් අපිට හම්බෙන්නේ positive charges ම තමයි. So what is your observation in setup 1? මොකක්ද observation එක? First thing, when you rub this, right, with a silk cloth or even woolen cloth, this will gain a positive charge, while this gets a kind of a negative charge. So positive negative will attract. What is the observation in step 2? Step 2 එකේ දැන් මේකේ මුකුත් කියලා නැහැනේ charge කරාද? හරි. දැන් මේකේ කොහොමද charge කරේ මොකක්ද කියලා නැහැනේ. මෙතන කියලා නැහැනේ. නේද? මේ question එකෙත් කියලා නැහැනේ. Glass rubbed with silk cloth. Glass rod rubbed with woolen cloth. මේක woolen cloth එකත් එක්කනේ. එතකොට මෙයා positive. හරි? මේක මොන glass rod එකක්ද කියලා නැහැ. but අපි හිතමු මෙයාව මේ normal විදියටම rub කරපු එකක් කියලා. ඉතින් එයාත් positive නේ. So what will happen? Positive will repel. Repulsion. Then state the reasons for your observations. Reason එක තමයි පුතේ like charges. Like charges get repelled while unlike charges attracts. Next one. Which instrument is used to identify the static electric charges? Which instrument is used to identify the static electric charges? අපි use කරා some sort of instrument. We use one instrument නේද? What instrument එකක් use කරා? So by using that instrument we can identify the presence of static electric charges. මොකද්ද පුතේ ඒකේ නම? Yes, what's the name? Gold leaf electroscope. Gold leaf electroscope. So the gold leaf electroscope. Gold leaf electroscope is the device which we use in order to identify the presence of static electric charges. Mention 2 instances where static electric charges are used. කොහෙද? අපි කතා කරා in photocopy machines. In televisions. Right, in televisions. Okay. Right, next one. 8th question. Right, you can observe 2 different circuits. පොඩි circuits දෙකක් වගේ දීලා තියෙනවා නේද? ඔයාලට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් නේද? Right, so මොකද්ද මේ දෙන්නගෙන් පෙන්නන්නේ? හරි? Now here you can observe this is a kind of a capacitor, right? මෙතන capacitor එකක්ද? Yes, here's the capacitor. So here are some cells and LED. So now these cells, once you connect them together, you can observe capacitor starts to charge. Charge වෙන්න පටන් ගන්නවා capacitor එක. But here මෙතනදී මොකද වෙන්නේ? It will discharge the stored amount of electric current. How about the AB process part? A කියලා කියන්නේ charging of a capacitor, B කියලා කියන්නේ discharging. Draw the symbol of X. Draw the symbol of X. X එකේ symbol එක කොහොමද පුතේ අපි X එකේ symbol එකක් අඳින්නේ? Symbol of X. අපි ඉස්සලා draw කරා මෙන්න මේ විදිහට. Right, ඔයා ඕක dry cell එකක් වෙනවා. ඔයා මේ විදිහට එකක් short එකක් long දැම්මොත්. මේක වැරදි. Should in same size. එකම size එකේ වෙන්න ඕනේ. Right. So how many marks? මේකෙත් marks තියෙනවා නේද? දාගන්න. 1 1 1 1 1. 1 2 3 4 5 6යි 6. 2 marks for this. 7 8. We can have 1 mark for this. 9 marks. 9 marks. Nine marks. Right, okay. Okay, again, refer this question. Question number 3. Hurry up and go through. Right, okay. We'll discuss this. Right. Now here you can observe a dynamo, right? Make it up again, dynamo එකක් කියලා. So you can have simple mark. ලකුණක් ගන්න පුළුවන් simply name this as dynamo. Dynamo. Name A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, and D. Right. A, turning wheel. B, metal rod. C, insulated copper coil. Insulated copper coil. And then the D is a kind of permanent magnet. Permanent magnet. It's a permanent magnet, right? Yes. According to which principle the electricity is generated here? According to electromagnetic induction. Kalanut kata kara. According to the electromagnetic induction. Which type of electricity is induced from the above instrument? May instrument king එළියට එන්නේ මොන වගේ current එකක්ද? Alternating current. Alternating current or AC current. Stretch a graph electric current against the time was the type we mentioned above. Right. AC current එකක් අපි indicate කරන්නේ මෙන්න මේ විදිහට. Time, x-axis, current, y-axis. So what happens? මේක ගන්න. This is how current flows in AC current. Last one. State two techniques that you can make to increase the amount of electricity. Right, මම මේක electricity වැඩි කරන විදි කිව්වා පුතේ. එකක් තමයි introduce more powerful magnet. Next one. Increase the number of coils. We can increase the number of coils even. Coils ගාන වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ තියෙන coils ගාන මේ. You can increase the number of coils here even. යාගේ තියෙන coils ගාන මේ C එකේ තියෙන coils ගාන. You can increase the number of coils and then also we can have more and more current. We can generate more current. Right. B. The figure shows the simple cell made by grade 7 students in the laboratory. Simple cell made by grade 7 students in the laboratory. Okay? Right. X කියන්නේ මොකක්ද y කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා අහනවා. හරි? Name X and Y metal sheets. මෙයා අහන්නේ දැන් අර coil එකට ගහලා තිබුණාට පුතේ මෙයා directly අහන්නේ මොකක්ද දන්නවද? අර metal sheets මොනවාද කියලා. Okay, got it? Not about the it's not asking about the wires. දැන් මම ඔක මුලින් දැකගුවම මටත් question එක එකපාරට පේන්නේ මොකද්ද? wire එකක් වගේ. wire එක මොකද්ද ගහ තියෙන්නේ කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ අහන්නේ, right? So මෙයා අහන්නේ about the sheets. අපි ඔකට use කරන්නේ copper and zinc sheets now. We can use copper and zinc sheets. So the positive terminal is copper. This is copper. While the negative terminal is zinc. Copper and zinc. X is copper, zinc. Name the acids that can use in this simple cell. අපි දාමු diluted sulfuric acid. Or even diluted hydrochloric acid. Right, two weaknesses that can be observed in the simple cell. In a simple cell, what we can observe the bad things are now it is stored very limited amount of electric current. very limited amount of electric current. හරිම පොඩි electric current ප්‍රමාණයක් තමයි generate කරන්නේ. And also very difficult to handle. Why? It's not portable. Acid හැලෙන්න පුළුවන්. ප්‍රශ්න ගොඩයි. Right? So, and also very large in size, contain liquids. These liquids may split, right? Okay. The fourth question. Hurry up. Go through these questions. Go through these questions. Okay, let's start. Right. Water ගැන කතා කරන්න. This setup was made by student in order to identify the properties of water. Right, in one setup, A, you can observe, now you can observe both are same, right? Both are same, but here you can observe dry cotton, while in the B, you can observe wet cotton, dry cotton and wet cotton. Dry cotton, wet cotton, dry cotton, wet cotton. Okay. So when, which property of water was identified from the above setup? Which property? මොකක්ද පුතේ property එක? Coolant property. Coolant property. Name the instrument X. X කියන instrument එක simple මොකක්ද? Thermometer. When you're using instrument X, state that what you should consider. මොකක්ද ඔයා consider කරන්න ඕනේ? When you're using instrument X, state what you should consider. මොනවද ඔයා consider කරන්න ඕනේ? Consider කරන්න ඕනේ එකක් තමයි මෙන්න මේ තියෙන bulb එකනේ. මේ bulb එක. Bulb should contact with this cotton cloth, right? Bulb should contact with the cotton wool. Right, put the one minute. Huh? Okay, right. So contact with the cotton wool. So bulb එක contact වෙන්න ඕනේ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම cotton wool එක. Fourth one, state two properties of water except you mention above. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන තියෙන coolant property එකනේ. තව properties මොනවද? තව මොනවද properties තියෙන්නේ? High specific heat capacity. ඒකත් මේකට relevant. High specific, you can observe very high specific heat capacity, right? Very high specific heat capacity එකක් observe කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, normally we call it as 4200 joule. And also පුතේ now we can observe some other characters. මොනවද අනිත් ඒවා? What else? As a solvent, water is a very good solvent, right? Water is a very good solvent. Water is a very good solvent. Very good solvent. Solvent property. Okay. Right. This setup made to separate salt that dissolve in water. Right, look at this one. By using this, we can separate out the salt which dissolve in water. How? Once you add seawater or salt containing water, and then you can heat it up. So what will happen? All this water will evaporate and salt will deposit. Name the instrument AB. A කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? ඒකගේ දා ගන්න පුළුවන් burner. burn එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් මේක. Right? B stand එකක් නේද? tripod or stand. What is your observation? ඔයාගේ observation එක මොකක්ද මේකේ? What is your observation? We can observe the salt, sorry, water, sorry, we can observe the salt once we vaporize the water. Next one, name two substances that can be separated by above process. මොනවද අපලන් අපිට පුළුවන් sugar වගේ දේවල්, salt කොහොමද ලියවන්නේ? salt වගේ දේවල් පුළුවන්. What else? Two substances. What else? තාම මොනවද අපිට separate out කරලා ගන්න පුළුවන්? What else? Anything dissolves in water. ඕනිම දෙයක් water වල dissolve වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් we can separate them out just by removing the water. water ටික remove කරලා අපිට පුළුවන් ඒ dissolve වෙලා තියෙන එක ගන්න. Okay? Right. Fifth one. Fifth question, I think the last question. Right, you better read this one. Okay, right. Two containers named as A and B contain an acid and base solution. Acid එකකුයි base එකකුයි තියෙනවා. හරි. Right? You can observe acid and a base. A and B. But අපි දන්නේ නැහැ මොකක්ද acid එක මොකක්ද base එක කියලා. But anyhow we can observe two different beakers maybe. Right? So the following table shows the resulting colors of phenolphthalein and methyl orange when they are dipped in these solutions. Okay, not pink, pink, pink. Should be pink. Colorless and red. Okay, so now based on the given data, මේ දීලා තියෙන data අනුව. Okay, so phenolphthalein, when considering the phenolphthalein, normally phenolphthalein colorless in acidic solution, right? Acids, right? Acids. මෙයා මේකට අනුව නම් acid එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. And here the pink base එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. Okay, that's what about the phenolphthalein. ඕක තමයි අපිට phenolphthalein ගැන කතා කරාම කියන්න පුළුවන් දේ. So when talking about the methyl orange is red normally in acidic solutions and yellow in basic solutions. ඉතින් හරිනේ. මේක ගැලපෙනවා. Which solution is acidic? කවුද acidic? B. Which one is basic solution? A. If you dipped blue litmus paper in the above solutions. අපි ඕකේ දැන් dip කරන්න කියනවා blue litmus paper එකක්. Right? Above solutions. Blue litmus paper එකක් පුතේ acidic solution එකක dip කරොත් if you dip in a acidic solution, right? Then the color is red. Then color is red. Acidic එකක dip කරොත් blue එකක් මෙයා red වෙනවා. එහෙනම් මේක red වෙන්න එපා. Right? But if you dip this in basic solution, base එකක නම් මේක dip කරේ. No color change. You can still observe blue color. Right then, when we add solution A and B in a container, then dipped red litmus paper in that mixed solution. What is your observation? When we add solution A and B in a container, then dipped red litmus paper in that mixed solution. What is your observation? Hari, api A and B solution ekaka tadala, when we add solution A and B container, then dipped red litmus paper in that mixed solution. මොකද්ද red litmus වල මොකද වෙන්නේ පුතේ? red litmus ගත්තොත් දැන් ඔය දෙන්න mix කරාට පස්සේ once you mix A and B, this will neutralize no. Neutralize වෙනවනේ. ඉතින් neutralize කරාට පස්සේ අපිට බලන්න පුළුවන් ද color change එක? No, no color change. Since when we add acid and base together, it will neutralize. Name 2 acids that can be used in your laboratory. අපේ laboratory එකේ බලන්න පුළුවන් acid and base මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? acid උයි base උයි. acid ගත්තොත් පුතේ sulfuric, hydrochloric. bases ගත්තොත් potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide. Next one, name 2 organisms that have streamlined body shape. Streamlined body shape එකක් තියෙන organisms ලා දෙන්නෙක්. Streamlined body shape. කාටද streamlined body shape තියෙන්නේ? Yes. Birds, fish. මේ කට්ටියගේ නම් ලියලා තිබ්බත් කමක් නැහැ. Birds කෙනෙක් හරි fish හරි ලියලා තිබ්බා. How the streamlined body helps to these organisms to their existence of life to overcome the resistance when they locomote. From air and water, right? Yes, that's it. Right. So streamlined body shape එක ගැන කතා කරත් ඔයාලට මතකයි මෙන්න fish කෙනෙක්ගේ streamlined body shape එක. Right? Like this. මෙහෙම නෙවෙයි. This is what you call streamlined body shape, so can overcome the resistance. Right, okay guys. So 11 marks again. So you can have 11 marks. Right? Got it? Okay, perfect. Okay, lamai. So could you please comment your marks? මේකේ comment එකක් දාන්න ඔයාගේ marks කීයක් ආවද මේ paper එකට කියන දේ. Right, okay. So next week onwards we'll start with the second term units, second term lessons. So I think this is more than enough for your first term. So we did all the units as well as these sort of papers. So now next week onwards, we can start your second term. So be prepared. And now next week target. You guys need to study like 6 hours within this week. And next week we'll check on that. Right. So till then, be safe. Have a nice week, wonderful week. So next week, as mentioned, next week, we'll start our second term. Okay. Good night. Have a nice day. Goodbye.